Imagine waking up tomorrow and finding out that one trader used AI to build a trading business worth millions, not by asking, should I buy or sell? Not by copying signals, not by running some magical bot, but by using AI in a way almost nobody else did. Sounds unbelievable? Maybe, but here's something even more unbelievable. Right now, millions of traders are using AI every single day, and most of them are using it completely wrong. They open Claude or ChatGPT and type the same question. Give me the best trading strategy. Predict tomorrow's market. What's the next winning trade? Then they wonder why. Nothing changes. Because they're asking AI to do the lowest value job possible. Think about this. Imagine hiring the smartest employee on Earth. Someone who never sleeps, can read thousands of pages in minutes, remembers everything, explains any concept, analyzes data instantly. And the only thing you ask them is, should I buy EAR USD? That's like hiring Albert Einstein to calculate your restaurant bill. The problem isn't the employee. It's how you're using them. And that's exactly what's happening with AI today. People think AI's greatest value is prediction. But prediction has never created great traders. Preparation has. Go back and study the greatest names in trading history. Jesse Livermore, Paul Tudor Jones, Stanley Druckenmiller. None of them had Claude. None of them had ChatGPT. None of them had machine learning. Yet they built extraordinary careers. Why? Because they mastered something technology still can't replace: judgment. The ability to make good decisions under uncertainty. That's the real edge. Not information, not speed, not predictions. Decision making. And here's the fascinating part. AI has the potential to make that skill dramatically better. Not because it trades for you, because it helps you think more clearly. Imagine spending 6 hours every day researching macroeconomics, reading earnings reports, reviewing your journal, backtesting ideas, building trading plans, and organizing your thoughts. Now imagine AI reducing those 6 hours to 1. Suddenly, you haven't become a better trader overnight. You've become a trader who can improve 6 times faster. That's where the real opportunity begins. Not with automation, with acceleration. Because the traders who dominate the next decade won't necessarily be the ones with the smartest AI. They'll be the ones who know how to multiply their own intelligence, using it. And that's exactly what we're about to explore. Because if you're only using Claude to ask where the market is going next, you're ignoring the biggest opportunity AI has ever created for traders. Here's the biggest misconception about AI. People think Claude is a trader. It isn't. And the day you stop treating it like one, everything changes. Imagine starting a hedge fund tomorrow. What's the first thing you'd hire? Not another trader. You'd hire researchers, analysts, economists, data scientists, risk managers, psychologists. People whose only job is to make your decisions better. Now imagine having all of those people available 24 hours a day for the price of a subscription. That's not science fiction. That's exactly what Claude can become, but only if you stop asking it, what should I trade today? Instead, ask questions that professionals actually ask. What changed in today's macro environment? Compare this market to similar historical events. Challenge my trading idea. Tell me everything that could make this trade fail. Notice what's happening? You're no longer asking AI to think instead of you. You're asking it to think with you. That's a completely different relationship. Think about a chess grandmaster. Does he become great because someone whispers the next move? No, he becomes great because he studies thousands of positions, patterns, mistakes, historical games. That's exactly where Claude becomes extraordinary. Imagine finishing your trading day. Instead of simply closing your laptop, you upload every trade, every journal entry, every screenshot, every thought you had before pressing buy or sell. Then you ask one question: what patterns do you see that I don't? That's powerful, because humans are terrible at recognizing their own habits. We remember the big wins. We forget the small mistakes. We justify emotional decisions. We rewrite history inside our own heads. Claude doesn't. It simply analyzes, without ego, without frustration, without hope, without fear. That's why AI can become the most honest trading coach you'll ever have. Not because it predicts markets, because it reflects your behavior. Imagine discovering that 80% of your losing trades happened after 3 consecutive wins. or that your biggest mistakes always occurred during New York Open, or that every revenge trade followed the exact same emotional pattern. Those discoveries are worth far more than another entry signal, because strategies change, markets evolve. But if you eliminate one destructive habit, that improvement compounds forever. This is why I believe most traders are chasing the wrong AI revolution. They think AI will replace traders. I think AI will replace mediocre preparation. The trader who spends 6 hours researching may soon compete with someone who spends 1 hour using AI intelligently, not because AI made them smarter overnight, because AI removed the busy work, and that changes everything. For the first time in history, an independent trader sitting at home can build a research workflow that once required an entire institutional team, not by replacing human judgment, but by giving human judgment better information. That's where the real opportunity begins. Not prediction, preparation. And in the next part, we'll talk about the one thing that actually separates traders who build wealth with AI from those who simply become dependent on it. Let's assume something. Tomorrow, Claude becomes twice as smart. It analyzes charts faster, understands macroeconomics better, writes better code, finds better patterns. Would that automatically make you rich? No, because intelligence and wealth have never been the same thing. Think about the smartest student you knew in school. Did they automatically become the richest person you know? Probably not, because information alone has never created wealth. Execution has. That's exactly where most traders misunderstand AI. They think AI creates money. It doesn't. AI creates leverage, and leverage is dangerous, because leverage magnifies whatever already exists. If you're disciplined, AI multiplies your discipline. If you're curious, AI multiplies your learning. If you're impatient, AI helps you make impatient decisions, even faster. The technology isn't deciding your future. Your habits are. Think about two traders. Both have Claude. Both pay for the same subscription. Both have access to the exact same intelligence. The first trader spends every day asking, "What's the next trade?" The second trader asks, "Help me build a trading system I can follow for the next 10 years." Fast forward 5 years. Who do you think has a better chance of building real wealth? The answer isn't even close, because one person used AI to chase income. The other used AI to build an asset. That's a completely different game. Professional traders don't think in trades. They think in systems. A system for research, a system for journaling, a system for reviewing mistakes, a system for managing risk, a system for improving every single week. Claude can help build every one of those systems. Imagine this workflow. Before the market opens, Claude summarizes every important macro event. Before you enter a trade, it challenges your idea and points out risks you may have missed. After the trade closes, it reviews your journal and compares today's decisions with your previous months. At the end of every week, it identifies your 3 biggest recurring mistakes. At the end of every month, it shows whether you're actually improving or simply staying busy. That's not a signal service. That's a performance system. And performance systems create careers, not lucky trades. This is exactly how elite athletes think. Olympic champions don't become great because of one workout. They become great because every workout, every meal, every recovery session, every mistake fits into a system. Trading is no different. Your account is simply the scoreboard. Your system determines the score. And that's why the biggest opportunity with AI isn't predicting tomorrow. It's becoming a better trader every single day. Because here's the truth almost nobody on YouTube wants to say. A great system, used consistently for 5 years, will almost always outperform a magical strategy used emotionally for 5 months. That's not exciting. It doesn't sell expensive courses, but it's how real wealth is built. Quietly, patiently, one decision at a time. And once you understand that, you stop asking, "How can Claude make me rich?" You start asking, "How can Claude make me better?" Ironically, that's the question that gives you the best chance of becoming rich. Because wealth is rarely the reward for finding shortcuts. It's usually the reward for building systems that other people are too impatient to create. And in the next part, we'll talk about why the traders making the most money with AI today are often the ones who rely on it the least. Right now, something incredible is happening. For the first time in history, the gap between a retail trader and a professional trader is smaller than it's ever been. Not because markets became easier, because intelligence became accessible. 20 years ago, if you wanted institutional level research, you needed an institutional budget. Teams of analysts, economists, data providers, researchers, millions of dollars every year. Today, one trader, sitting in a small apartment, with Claude open on one screen, has access to more knowledge than most professionals had just a decade ago. That's unbelievable. But here's the irony. Most people are wasting it. They're asking Claude questions they could have answered with a Google search. Meanwhile, the traders quietly building wealth are asking questions that compound. Questions like, challenge my assumptions. What's the strongest argument against my trading idea? What patterns have I repeated over the last 6 months? Where am I confusing luck with skill? Those questions don't just improve today's trade. They improve tomorrow's trader. And that's the difference. The AI revolution isn't about replacing intelligence. It's about multiplying it. Imagine 2 woodcutters. One swings an axe 8 hours a day. The other spends 1 hour sharpening the axe, then works 7. At the end of the week, who cuts more trees? Most people focus on working harder. Professionals focus on becoming more effective. Claude is your sharpening stone, not your replacement. That's why the smartest traders don't start their day by opening TradingView. They start by preparing, reviewing yesterday's mistakes, understanding today's macro environment, identifying possible risks, building scenarios. Only then do they open the charts, because charts don't create decisions. Preparation does, and preparation creates confidence, not fake confidence. The quiet confidence that comes from knowing, I've done the work. Think about airline pilots. Before every flight, they go through a checklist, not because they're inexperienced, because they're professionals. Professionals trust systems more than memory. Trading deserves the same respect. Imagine using Claude to create your own pre-market checklist, your own post-trade review, your own psychological audit. Every single trading day, you become slightly more disciplined, slightly more objective, slightly more consistent. Those tiny improvements don't feel dramatic, but neither does compound interest. Until years pass, then suddenly, people call you talented. They call you gifted. They ask what secret strategy you're using. They never see the hundreds of small improvements that quietly built your edge. That's exactly how AI should work. Not as a shortcut, as a multiplier. It multiplies learning. It multiplies preparation. It multiplies self-awareness, but only if there's something valuable to multiply. That's why 2 traders can use the exact same AI and get completely different outcomes. One becomes dependent, the other becomes dangerous. Not dangerous because of the software. Dangerous because every month, their decision-making gets better. And decision-making is the only edge that survives every market cycle. Because markets change, technology changes, AI models change, but exceptional judgment never goes out of style. And that's where the final lesson begins. Because the biggest opportunity Claude gives you has nothing to do with trading itself. It has everything to do with becoming the kind of person who can keep creating value long after today's AI becomes obsolete. Let's go back to the question we started with. Can Claude help you make an insane amount of money from trading? Yes, but probably not in the way you're imagining. Because the biggest money in trading has never come from one extraordinary trade. It comes from extraordinary decisions, repeated over thousands of trades. That's what AI can help you build. Not certainty. Consistency. Imagine 2 traders. One spends every day chasing the next prediction. The other spends every day improving his decision-making by just 1%. After 1 month, the difference is almost invisible. After 1 year, it's obvious. After 5 years, they're living completely different lives. One is still asking, what's the next trade? The other has built a system that keeps producing good decisions. That's the real power of AI. It doesn't just save time. It gives you more opportunities to improve, and improvement compounds. Think about the internet. Most people used it for entertainment. A small percentage used it to build businesses. The tool was the same. The outcome wasn't. AI is creating the exact same divide. Most people will use it to ask lazy questions. What's the next stock? What's the next trade? Where should I buy? A much smaller group will use it to build an unfair advantage, to learn faster, research deeper, think more clearly, review mistakes honestly, build systems that improve every single month. Those are the traders who'll quietly separate themselves from everyone else. Because the future doesn't belong to the people with the best prompts. It belongs to the people who ask the best questions. And that's something no software can teach you. Here's the irony. The greatest value Claude gives you isn't answers. It's better thinking. It forces you to challenge assumptions, to organize ideas, to question your own logic, to slow down before making expensive decisions. Those habits become priceless, not only in trading, but in business, investing, and life itself. One day, there will be a new AI, smarter than Claude, faster, more powerful than another, and another. Technology will keep evolving, but the traders who continue building wealth will still rely on the same timeless principles: patience, discipline, risk management, independent thinking. Because those qualities never become obsolete. AI changes the speed of learning. It doesn't change the laws of success. So if you're hoping Claude will make you rich while you do nothing, you're asking the wrong question. But if you're willing to use Claude to become the smartest, most disciplined, most prepared version of yourself, then you may be building something far more valuable than a profitable trade. You may be building a trader who can create wealth for the rest of their life. And that's the opportunity almost everyone is overlooking. Not because it's hidden, because it isn't flashy enough to go viral. Real wealth rarely is. If this video changed the way you think about AI and trading, subscribe. Because on this channel, we don't chase shortcuts. We build systems. We build discipline. And most importantly, we build the mindset that continues creating wealth long after the latest AI model has been replaced.